To look at the GDP's definition, like understand what is GDP and also all kind of other different measures. And now we have to understand, okay, we have outputs. So output are produced and then somebody has to consume it. So who gonna consume? So that's, we're gonna answer the question, what to produce. And so the product are produced for the product produced for consumptions, and the product produced for investments, and the product produced for government purchases, and the product purchased for net import. Export might import. So these four components all together contribute to our GDP. So our GDP is used in these four different areas: consumption, investment, government purchase, and net import. So now we're going to look at one by one. So first of all, consumption. So the consumption means the goods, services used by the household. So the major use of the total output conform to the four sets of market participants: consumer, producer, government, and international participants. And so the goods and services used by the household are called consumption goods. And consumer spending, so for this segment called consumption, actually claim over 2/3 of our total GDP. So 2/3 of our total GDP is go to consumption. It's pretty big amount. And the second component is investment. So the investment goods are the plant, machinery, and equipment that we produce. So the investment spending claims approximately 1/6 of our total GDP. So it's about 15% of our GDPs. And the third component is government spending or government purchase. So the third major use of the GDP is by our public sectors, our state government or federal government. So the resources purchased by the government sector are available for consumption or investment purpose, such as the state trooper, they drive the police car. So those, and the employee need to get a salary, so they hire the employees. So those are all considered as the government spendings. So for government spending, they claim approximately 1/5 of the total GDP. So this is the third component. And the last one is the net export. So keep in mind, what is net export? So net export is you're using the export minus imports. So what is exports? So the exports is the goods and services sold to the international buyer. So American businessmen sell the product to another country, so that considered as export. So where the import is the businessman in another country and sell the product to the US, that considered import. So the export minus import, make sure you understand export minus import, it gives you the net export. So actually we export some goods, thus the GDP will be larger than the sum of our own consumption, investment, and government purchases. So we will import some goods and services which are not calculated as part of America's GDP, since they were not produced within our border. So can you find an example as export goods? Yes, the Boeing flights and the soybean. So can you think about any imports goods? Yes, of course, like clothes and electronic products. So they're all import goods. And so now after we look at the four components, so we put them together, and you will find actually is what we got our GDPs. So our GDP actually equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditures and plus export minus import. So that is how we calculate the GDP.